Hello, everyone. Welcome into another edition of Just Another Year Chicago. My name is Tony Sapita. I'm joined again by my co-host, Nick Barr. How you doing today, Nick?
Tony, I am doing great. We got the bench mob shirts back on. We're looking cute. Heavy on the wrist. We got the bands. Javante Green, he reposted it today. So again, shout out to bench mob. Tony, you want to tell us more about that?
Yeah, absolutely. We love these guys already. I mean, I know Nick and I are just in general fans of like the idea of the bench mob, the players, but it's cool that
Yeah,
the
man.
brand is coming back. So the early 2010s vibes are back. The bench mob returns in 2021 with guys like Alex Caruso, Kobe White, Javante Green, and Derrick Jones Jr. I'll add in some of my own, Io DeSumo and Alize Johnson. Love Alize Johnson. We'll get into that more. But head over to www.benchmob.com to get your bench mob shirt. It looks more like Nick's red, not my red. Again, that's my camera. I don't know how to fix it. Someone please help me. To get your bench mob shirt, wristbands, and more, use code J20, JAY20 to get 20% off your order. Portion of all the sales goes to the Quiet Storm Foundation. That's CJ Watson's foundation. Really good cause. Obviously, we can do more about that in the future if you guys want to know more. Otherwise, you guys can look it up. And with that, let's get into kind of he was a starter, but it was kind of during that bench mob era. So
Yeah.
Thursday is Joakim Noah night, the Chicago
Yeah.
Bulls. I thought for a while they were retiring his number. I didn't realize it was just like they're just honoring him, just having a night for him, like a bobblehead
Yeah.
night. I thought it was like a whole thing, but it's more of just, like, hey, we love you, man. And we do. So, Nick, I want you to start off. So for Joakim Noah night, we're going to do what is your favorite Joakim Noah night, whether it
Yeah.
was with the Bulls, whatever it was.
Yeah. Favorite Joakim moments, dude. We could do a whole, 2-hour podcast right about this, but we'll keep it short and sweet for you. But everyone remembers probably, even if you're not a Bulls fan, but especially if you're a Bulls or Celtics fan, right? You remember that 2009 playoff series. One of the more intense series I still remember watching, like in any sport, pretty much, period. So that alone memorable. Joakim, like you said, starting at the time, and I specifically remember where I was when Joakim had that steal, that runaway layup, and one. Paul Pierce fouls out. It was a huge swing point for the game, kind of a dagger in a sense, and just his Joakim's veins popping out. And I remember I was at the Mall of America. Okay, I got a lot of friends, not a lot of friends, a lot of family, not a lot of friends in Minnesota, actually, a lot of family up there. We were at the Mall of America, and of course, my dad and I found a TV, right? And while I probably should have been with my cousins that I only see once a year, I was in fact glued to this game. And boy, I mean, I was obviously glad I did it still. And I just literally remember, like, there were bumper cars or something going on to the left of me. There was like some sort of obstacle course to the right. Like, it's very vivid. And the only reason why it's so vivid is because of Joakim Noah and the Bulls at the time. So that was my big Joakim moment. Tony, what was yours?
Yeah. So real quick on that series, that was awesome. Mine's gonna be about Cleveland, but that
The
series I
best.
think still has the record for most like overtime games or most
Yeah,
overtime like periods, whatever it was in
something like that,
playoff
man.
series. That was absolutely like that made me enjoy like hockey has it. If you're a Hawks fan, you obviously the old overtime periods where Hawks are playing till 2 a.m. and over in Anaheim, whatever it is. But those playoff overtime periods where those were the most exciting thing that I can remember. I think we were 12, 13 years old, whatever it
Yeah,
was, and I
yeah.
glued to it. Absolutely. That made me love basketball so much. What also made me love basketball was a little off the court press conference Joakim Noah quotes. You all know, he's not the biggest fan of Cleveland. Cleveland isn't the biggest fan of him. And I will love him forever for just the way that he no holds barred went after Cleveland. I'm not sure if there's any swear words. I didn't read it that hard. So, maybe I'll add a bleep in here if there is. One of his quotes about the city of Cleveland in an interview on TNT in 2010. I don't know about this place, man. I just stayed in my hotel room, man. Every time I look out my window, it's pretty depressing out here, man. It's bad. It's bad. No, no going out in Cleveland, man. It's all factories. Great quote. And then, of course, the crown jewel of it all, as they call Cleveland, the crown jewel of Lake Erie. I don't know if they call it that. I think they asked
Sure.
him just about the city of Cleveland again. This was a press conference 2010. basically like, do you like it or would you ever come back here? And not at all. You like it? Do you think Cleveland's cool? I mean, I've never heard anyone say I'm going to Cleveland on vacation. What's so good about Cleveland? And then of course, yeah, I don't think they like me over here. It was his final quote about it. I love it so much. Screw Cleveland. I'm all in on that. Nick,
wrong,
what are your
man.
comments?
He's not wrong. I mean, he's just not wrong. And that's part of the thing you got to love about Joakim. He was so blunt, but so lovable at the same time. He was such a genuine dude. He just cared about winning every time. Just riding for his teammates, ultimate ride or die kind of guy, you know. But I just want to add a little bonus. It's actually pretty crazy how many intertwined relationships we have with the Joakim Noah night. You know, Billy Donovan, who's now Bulls coach, was his coach at Florida. Like the list goes on with the, you know, and then Thibodeau. But Tibbs, I got to talk about Tibbs real quick because, you know, we forgive, but we don't forget his stint with us. But basically, Tibbs had a little New York Times article written about him way back when, which is kind of hilarious. Just thinking about it. It was literally just a backstory about him and how he's a great, you know, tough, hard-nosed coach. So back in 2012, Tibbs was hot, I guess, in the streets. And basically, this is my all-time favorite Tibbs story. And you'll know, I mean, it just fits right in. So basically, there was this backstory talking about his start at you know, in the coaching world. He was like 25, graduate assistant. And he was engaged at the time, actually. And he ended up canceling his wedding like 6 weeks prior. His mom like made him return the gifts and stuff that they had received beforehand. And basically he told the athletic director, I think the athletic director is the one who kind of told this story, but basically the young Tibbs said, there's no room in my life for a woman if I'm going to be a basketball coach. And guess what? Our boy has been married to the game since, and I mean that, he's married to the game and the game only. He is unmarried to a human to this day. So shout out our boy Tibbs, just the ultimate basketball man. There's football guys and there's basketball men, and that is a basketball man right there. Tony, any Tibbs, any Tibbs reactions there?
Just overall, I do love that man. I'm gonna talk about him, I know, to the end of my days. Like my dad talks about Phil Jackson, and not because of, obviously the success isn't exactly comparable, obviously, but
right.
Or like how, you know, my grandfather talked about Mike Ditka, those guys where it's just he was an enigma. He was just so he just didn't fit the stereotypical, you know, like Billy Donovan does right now, where he's wearing the suit and he's like, yeah, we play as a team out there and that's what we do. He's like, no, I will play.
Looks great in a quarter zip.
Yeah,
looks great in a quarter zip.
48 minutes a night.
Sorry, Thibodeau. I mean, listen. Let's be real. All right, we're in the trust tree here. Thibodeau, he does not look good in a quarter zip. Okay, he looks good in a polo, and that's it. And that's. I love that. That's just Tibbs, man.
Yeah, I completely agree. And my last little comment on Tibbs is he's the other thing. Yeah, like I said, he doesn't fit that prototypical mold of just, you know, nowadays where it's, again, flashy suit, just like, it's about the team. He's like, no. I'm a coach. All I do, like you said, he's married to the game and the game only. He kind of reminds me of Tex Winter. Is that his name? He's the guy that invented the triangle offense.
Phenomenal name, dude.
Yeah, I'm
Hall of
pretty
Fame,
sure
man.
I got that right.
Tex Winter, and he's not your local meteorologist.
I'm 99% sure I got that right. I know the word Tex is in there, but he invented the triangle offense. He was like the guy that was no one really knew about on the Bulls bench that was helping. I mean, obviously everyone knows about him now, I'd like to think, but he just, he eats, sleeps, and breathes basketball, and I love everything about that. So my final thing about Joakim Noah night will be back to Joakim Noah, and it is two quick things. One's a comment on his game. My favorite part about him was that his free throws spun sideways, and it was
unreal.
It was always, it just goes like that, and
torpedo.
I don't know why, but every time I watched him shoot a free throw, it went in. But I'd look at his percentage, and it was okay. It wasn't Shaq bad, but it was.
I'll tell you what. I mean, it was better than it should have been with that shot. Yeah. I mean, you got to give it up, man. You got to give it up.
The man knew what he was doing. And then my final off-court Joakim Noah favorite thing was when he When he was now to this day, he in interviews when they're like, Derrick Rose, asking about how good were you guys, whatever. He's like, that I will die on this hill. If Derrick Rose does not get hurt against the 76ers, we win the championship that year. We were the best team in the
Love
world.
that.
No
Love
one
that.
beats us. So I know he went to the Knicks, he went to the Timberwolves, whatever. Bull for life, always and forever.
He's like, we'd take down the dream team, no doubt.
Honestly, I think he might believe it. And you know what?
And that's why I love him. That's why I
They
love
were
him.
pretty good that year.
They
probably
were. They were.
Team. But speaking of a former team he played for, like Nick mentioned, a lot of things intertwined on Joakim Noah night. So they're playing the Knicks.
Yeah.
He obviously played for the Knicks. Tom Thibodeau's the coach there. The Knicks have Taj Gibson. They have Derrick Rose actually. So
Never heard of him.
Like you said, Billy Donovan, his coach at Florida. Just a lot of stuff, and it's really cool. I'm really happy they're doing it. But almost more important than Joakim Noah night is the fact that the Chicago Bulls are taking on the New York Knicks in a meaningful basketball game without them already being mathematically eliminated from the playoffs.
Yeah, man.
Nick, you want to kind of fill us in on how awesome this game's going to be?
I'm already getting loose, dude. I love it. I'm ready because look, no matter win, lose, I think this is the beginning of a new, of a re-sparked, right? Rekindled flame between the New York Knicks and the Chicago Bulls. And as cliche as it is, it's good for the league, man. It's good for the world if the Bulls and Knicks have a legitimate rivalry, have fans that hate each other. I mean, we already have two fan bases that think we're the best team in the entire planet. And that already makes for some good backstory, some good turmoil. And then you add to the fact that it's Joakim night. With again, all those intertwined relationships there, all that backstory. I mean, journalists are loving this one, man. This one's easy to write about, but I'm looking most forward to the game itself, believe it or not, because like I said, I think this is the start of something big here. Between, when we have two solid rosters for once on these two teams. Knicks are 3-1, right? So far, beat the 76ers. The other night, we got they're facing the Bulls at home tonight, and basically we gotta guard Julius Randle, Tony. And I want to see Patrick Williams again step up, show that that he can be who we want him to be, and I think if Levine plays, I think we definitely win. Now, the only thing, breaking news a little bit, at least at the time we're recording, Levine is now questionable with a little torn ligament in his thumb. Pretty minor injury. He got an MRI yesterday. At first, it sounded like he was going to play through it. Now it sounds like he's questionable. I think, Tony, I think we win this one either way. The Jazz game, that might be a different story. We'll get to that later. Knicks, I think we beat with Levine or not. We've shown that we can win without Levine. Not saying that we want to be without him, but of course we want to still win. So I think we get the win tomorrow. I'm anxious to see what happens with Zach. What do you think about this one?
Yeah, so I think it's interesting. His quotes about it were, obviously I'm going to try to play through it. It's just it's a small ligament tear on his non-shooting thumb. So at least it's not on his shooting hand, so that makes it better. I know they're going to do more tests. They're going to test it out at shoot-arounds on today on Wednesday, and yesterday, because today's Thursday now. That's right. And then they're also going to try it out before the game, see if he can go, see if it's just anything that he could hurt going forward. And obviously we have big things to come, and no reason to get him hurt in game 5 of the season for an extended period of time. So, but what we did talk about, we've been talking about it all year so far, all 4 games, is that it's great having Zach LaVine around. Yes, he puts up 30 points. He, obviously carries the team sometimes when he has to. But we have proven, DeMar has shown that he can hold his own. He can guide the team, at least put them in position to win. And then from there, we just need guys to continue to step up. That's the biggest thing. We can't.
Yeah, I mean, he saved us. DeMar saved us the other night. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
But we need more.
Yeah, and that's what we're going to need, obviously, if he can't go. And how I kind of hope that Billy Donovan plays it, and it's kind of what he's been doing. He did it against when we were at that Pistons game on Saturday, Nick. He played him for like, I think he played like 8 minutes in the first half. And it was just,
Yeah.
again, it was just because they didn't need him, you know, and it was fine. And then they put him in at the end when, you know, they actually had to score some points once the Pistons were they made a little run. Obviously, they blew him out in the third quarter, but I like the way he did that. I hope he does it that way. I want to comment also on the fact that the rivalry renewed. Bulls, Knicks, Chicago, New York, two of the most annoying media, like the presses in the country when it comes to just being down your throat about anything and everything. And it's just funny too that both towns have just had such bad sports for so long.
Yeah.
And it's finally, I'm sure you guys have seen the Knicks videos online, the Knicks fans, you know, just going crazy for their team. And I love that. And so they had their coming out party a little bit last year. This year is going to be our coming out party. It's in Chicago too, this game, which is sick. So I'm hoping when we beat the Knicks tonight, we kind of get a little bit of that out on Madison Street, the Madhouse on Madison, going crazy. People just losing their absolute minds for the 5th game of the season. And yeah, I'm excited to hate New York again because we kind of do. I'm a White Sox fan, so I hate the Yankees, but like the Cubs have no relation. Like them and the Mets aren't rivals right now. The Bears and the Giants are dumpster fires, so who cares? And yeah, well, the Hawks were just not. You know, we won't get into that. And yeah, I like hating New York. I love hating New York. I should put it on a t-shirt.
That should be yeah. That should be
I heart hating New York. There it is.
Yep. I love that. I love that.
What are your any other comments, I guess, here?
Not really, man. I mean, really, so it looks like I did read something about New York is allowing the fewest points in the paint. I mean, I know we're early in the season, but they're leading the league, you know, in terms of allowing fewest points in the paint. And that just got me thinking, like, Vooch, let's get going, buddy. All right, let's make our bunnies. If he can do that, we're fine. I mean, they have some rim protectors, you know what I'm saying? So I want to see Vooch step up in this one. That's kind of what I'm watching for, in lieu of P. Will stepping up. And then obviously, you know, if Zach's playing or not is going to be another factor. But with excluding that, what I'm looking for the most, P. Will, Vooch, can they get going? Can Vooch, you know, also protect the rim a little bit too? They got some good scores around the basket. So let's get a win, man. Let's keep it rolling.
Yeah. And like I mentioned too, we're going to obviously need a big game for the bench. Not just because Zach may or may not be out, but just because it's just such a well-balanced team. The Knicks are very well-balanced. If you look at their, I looked at their last box score against the 76ers. Everyone played at least double-digit minutes. I think only 6 guys scored in double digits, but only one person scored less than, I think it was like 7 or 8. So everyone's getting points. Everyone is, you know, everyone's doing their job. They're 10 guys deep, just running it. And, you know, we're going to have to do that. Alize Johnson. Someone tried to come at me on Twitter saying Alize Johnson wasn't the biggest addition of the year, that maybe DeMar was or whatever. You're probably right. So that'll be my official comment. But I'm hoping Alize Johnson bench mob shows out. Yeah, we'll just we'll get the win and we're on to, what is it, Utah? And we'll have a pregame show for you. And yeah, rivalry renewed. Chicago versus New York, the Windy City versus the city that never sleeps. There we go. And yeah,
the concrete jungle.
Concrete jungle versus Chicago. Yes. Yep, that's
well. You could have just kept the Windy City part. Yeah, keep the Windy City part.
Yeah,
concrete jungle. There we go. Yeah,
yep.
That's it.
City by the lake versus the city by the ocean. So those are all the names that I made up. And with that, I'll do it for another episode of Just Another Year in Chicago. My name is Tony Sapita. Thank you again to my co-host, Nick Barr. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Until next time, Bulls fans, keep seeing red.